Okay, so whatever this what if is called, I don't know. I don't really focus on what ifs. I do other stuff. I explain this in the video I'll post later at the end. So if anybody starts like telling me that your story's bad or anything like that, I know that because I do not try at this. I do other anime writing stuff in the sidelines. So yeah, or I'm trying to. And I do other anime stuff. You know, yeah, I just have to explain that. Because if somebody wants to tell me my storytelling's bad, I know it is. I don't put work. This is me just talking and getting views somehow. What is this? Minecraft? You make a video where you just stab people and people watch it. You might add commentary, but some commentary doesn't make sense. And I don't do that. What am I even talking about? I'm tired. That's all you need to know. Okay, let's start this what if. So, we left off with Deku being explained of UA. Honestly, um, right now, Deku's like, he's in at last year middle school, right? Yeah. So, since Deku is told this, he would get ready to train. And Bakugo would be trained too. Bakugo would find a beach to train at. Which, at this beach, he would pick up trash and move it into a pile, and he would test his explosions to see how much damage he can do. With this going on, this would draw attention to people to watch it, as people would notice. Take some videos of a kid practicing cork explaining stuff. But one day, a man with blonde hair, an old man, and a skinny body. And then, the next day, All Might would come. With Bakugo being surprised that's All Might and wouldn't be fanboying over him. But All Might would ask him a question of why he's doing this. And he says, I'm doing this to beat you and become the #1 hero and to get to UA. And all that. And so he would ask him a question if he wants, if he could train him. Which Bakugo would be confused and say, why would you train me out of nowhere? And he says, because you have determination and your quirk is strong, is what I've seen. So I will train you. And so he would. He would give him physical training, saying that you need to make sure your body can keep up with yourself and your quirk. And so, as he'd go by for 3 months, and he would be able to carry trash all the beats out of it. And this is where he would finally explain to him why he made him do physical training. However, Bakugo asks this saying, I know it's a quirk, but you seem to have a double reason. And he would explain his quirk. Explain one for all to him. And he would ask him if he wants to become a successor. And Bakugo would accept. Since he knows Deku has some extreme physical strength and a very strong fire quirk with it, which makes him very deadly in both subjects. And he thinks with All Might's quirk, he can take Deku out with a strong emitter type quirk and a strong enhancement type quirk. And so he would take this, and he would have gotten one for all, with the training for it to be done with the next 7 months of training. And I forgot how old they are in this one, but I'd say that they're in 8th grade, blah blah blah. They're 14. And so, with this happening, Bakugo would train with one from learning full cow or explosion burst because I'm not original at all. I do not remember who did that first. I heard it from Lazy Whatever. I also heard it from Ryan Trunky, Anime God. Anybody that did a Deku What If that had Bakugo have a explosion core called it something like that. I even think there's probably a fan flick that whatever, I don't know what the website's called, that has it on there too. People probably used to along whenever like season 3 is soon to end and people are starting to make Deku fan flicks and all that, or My Hero ones. So yeah. But yeah. Bakugo would hit the milestone of 20% one for all, which would open up the way to be able to use, what was it? Oh yeah, wind pressures. And so he would he would design his suit with his gauntlets to have, of course, wood hold up and all that. Not that bulky, but still pretty big. And something that can release some of it with like a sort of ring around his hand, which he mixes with his One for All with Airstrike, which he calls it just like missile or something like that, since he'll flick it at you with explosions. And if it hits you, it will explode at first, and whenever it hits you, it explodes again. So it does pretty massive damage. Or not massive, but it feels like you're getting punched with an explosion, pretty much. And while Bakugo is training with Squirk, an all for one for all, I mean, Deku would be training his Squirk. With his max being 2 tails, which would be very strong, he would get his Squirk to be at 5 tails, now at max, which would be very strong and increase his physical strength even more. And since he knows that sort of his transformation from with his quirks and tails are like multipliers, he would learn to make him stronger. In physically, he has to be physically strong without his quirk. And to train his quirk with fire, he has to be very strong with his quirk. So they kind of like reflect off of each other. So whenever he trains physically, his physical strength gets stronger inside his transformation, which also transfers over into strengthening his fire, which the fire being trained transfers over to his transformation, which goes over to his physical. So it's like all around his strengthening by training these both. That probably didn't make sense, but it makes sense in my head. I'm not very good at explaining stuff. But they would train like this until Yay entrance exam would come over and they would go. Bill, that could be walking hard, would run in to UA, and Bakugo would have just walked there normally since Deku does live farther away. And so they would walk in with Bakugo glaring at Deku, and Deku would smile and wave at him as they would walk in. But while Deku's walking in, he would see a girl trip, which he'd grab her, sitting her up, saying it'd be bad luck to trip on the first day, right? And she'd say yes. She'd be sort of nervous for the entrance exams, and he would say, keep calm. If you're calm, you would do much better than being worried about it. And she would say thank you to him, as he'd walk in, as he'd be sat right next to Bakugo. As Bakugo would notice that they're put into different areas, if they're from the same schools and all that, and that he would not be paying attention. He would be whistling as Ida would yell at him and all that, and would talk about how you forgot about the fourth one. I think that's not very professional if this is one of the top ranking schools. Not just for heroes, but in general. And of course he'd say, if you would have waited, I was just about to go over that. The 0-pointers are there to just be an obstacle. So just don't worry about it. And so they would get ready to go, with them all being put into areas, with deku being put on with Ida and where Uraraka is and other people. And I'd say Deku accidentally went to the front and he was walking to the back. And Ida was staying in the front this time. And he'd think that he's going to go for the girl. And he'd try to stop him and explain that. And Deku says, no, I'm just going back there to get a running start to jump. And he'd say, whatever, stop trying to lie and all that. And he says, just watch, as Deku would, I'd say, sort of kick off with us, launching himself back there, away from Ida, saying he says, oh, he wasn't lying. He has some kind of enhancement quirk or speed quirk, since he just moved there instant very quickly. And so, it would be ready to get started. With Deku seeing doors opening and hearing it, as people would feel a sense of heat behind them, as Deku would have went for 3 tails form to conserve energy, and his claws would stick out, his tails would whip around, and you get ready, as he would see him run and jump, as he would fly above everybody on top of the roofs. As he said, President Mike would say, get going, there's now go, ready, set, go, in real battles. Go follow him. As Deku would have dropped off the villain, crashing into some robots, whipping around his blades on his arms, cutting them down. As he used this opportunity to take out another batch of them, throwing a kick, seeing a wave of flames of crashing into them and slicing them in half, and melting them if they're near it. And his heat would be enough to melt their tires. So even if he doesn't hit them correctly, he would melt their tires and stop them from moving. And would take them out that way. With Deku gaining a whole bunch of points that way easily. As on Bakugo's end, he'd be rushing through, running and exploding through with his quirks. As people would see him and say he has 2 quirks, but he thinks Deku has 2 quirks, but he only has really 1. But just very mixed together. Flames and enhancement quirk. As Deku would be smashing his way through all of them. As he would have gained 20 points in the instance in the beginning of the whole match. As Bakugo would also use long range attacks to gain the same amount. as these two would be smashing through robots, impressing everybody that was near them. And they would continue smashing through all the way to one of the zero pointers came. And if a zero pointer gets close to hitting them, they would either dodge and cut it, or like hit it with flames, like with this flame kick, or just explode it in general. So they'd be gaining mad points that way. Deku or Bakugo would be enhancing his quirk with explosions, using his enhancement quirk to explode the gigantic ones, which wipe away a whole bunch of them, and Deku would melt them with a single kick with flames, all the way up to whenever Deku and Bakugo would hear a noise, as they would hear somebody yelling for help, and Bakugo, spending time with All Might, would try to do the best he can be to be a hero, as he run towards it. As you would see Uraraka, as Deku would dive down to get him, he wouldn't even notice Deku, as he's getting ready to throw explosion enhanced with one for all at 30%, max out his arm strength and all that, as Deku's spinning while grabbing Uraraka, about to throw one of his strongest kicks he can do, creating two more tails, as Deku would kick, throwing this, smashing through all the robots, and sending them all back. With Bakugo's explosion combining, as it caused a devastation blow. And since both of them threw attack, and if they did destroy any robots behind that, the points were split 50-50 with them. With the points being handed 50-50. But since Deku was the one who caught Uraraka and covered her just in case if any rebels hit, he would have gained 5 extra points onto Bakugo, since Bakugo did destroy a couple more robots than Deku. And so, villain count, Deku's would have been 225, Bakugo's would be, did I say 200? Yes, I said 200. 250, or not 50, 35, as the rescue points would be 60, so it would be 30, so that would bump up Deku's to 50 and him to 75, and Deku would get an extra, how much was it, 15, no, 20 points, I think. My math probably was wrong, but it was something like that. So Deku would gain an extra 20 points, which would even it out to be 5 more than Bakugo. Wanted him to be the winner. And so they would go back home with Uraraka not really knowing that Bakugo did help. No, she would know, since you would see him and Deku's attack hit whenever he jumped up in the air and used it. His explosion, as Deku used his kick, Bakugo would use his punch, and Deku would use his kick to take down the robot together. And so, she would thank them on the way out, as they would leave, waiting for their points to come in, and they would come up with All Might telling Bakugo got second only by 5 points, and Deku being told that he won against the second place by 5 points, which was Bakugo, since they know him from school, since they know they went to school together. And so they would be told that they're going to Class 1A, which Deku would head there, Deku would get there later, so he would walk into, and they would walk into Baku and Ita arguing, and I have to go to the store, so I'll end the what if here. Peace out. I don't focus on what ifs. I have a side job. If this is the side quest, and I do the main quest of anime stuff, so I do not focus. I just have to tell you that. I'm gonna do it for every video now. Goodbye.